CBI courts, where the Central Investigating Agency of the CBI has sought 5 days custody of the Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, as they say he is accused number 1 in the case. The CBI's contention while making this demand before the court, before the judge Nagpal, the court of Judge Nagpal, has been that the Deputy Chief Minister has been evasive during questioning yesterday. And he was questioned for 8 hours at a stretch. The counsel for Manish Sisodia has tried to poke holes in this argument, saying that as far as cooperation goes, the Deputy Chief Minister has appeared when he was summoned. Searches have been conducted. Nothing was prevented. No search was prevented from being allowed to be conducted. So where is the case that Manish Sisodia has not cooperated? That is the key question the counsel for Manish Sisodia is raising in court in this hearing before the judge. Where is the case that the Deputy Chief Minister has not cooperated? Is it simply because he hasn't answered the way the CBI has wanted? Custody cannot be granted simply because the accused here has not self-incriminated himself. The counsel for Manish Sisodia pointing out that you cannot expect the accused to self-incriminate themselves, and simply because they don't give you the answers that you are looking for does not mean that they are not cooperative. If someone's not answering a question, that cannot be the grounds for granting custody. The counsel appearing for Manish Sisodia has said in court. We're getting reactions coming in from AAP leaders who are also monitoring what's transpiring in court. Let's listen into Saurabh Bharadwaj right now.
सभी कार्यकर्ता शांतिपूर्ण ढंग से आम आदमी पार्टी के दफ्तर में बैठे हुए हैं। लोग पानी पी रहे हैं, आराम कर रहे हैं, चोट लगी है, इलाज करा रहे हैं, और दिल्ली पुलिस के सिपाही आम आदमी पार्टी के दफ्तर में घुसकर हमारे कार्यकर्ताओं को उठा उठा के जेल में भेज रहे हैं। ये तो गलत है। जब हम आपको कोई परेशान नहीं कर रहे, हम आपको कुछ कह नहीं रहे, तो किस कानून की धारा के तहत आप हमारे कार्यकर्ताओं को गिरफ्तार कर सकते हैं? हम सड़क पे तो नहीं खड़े, हम अपने ऑफिस के अंदर खड़े हैं। ये गलत है, ये नहीं चलेगा। बिना बात कोई बात नहीं हो रही है, कोई लेना देना नहीं है, सिर्फ एक तानाशाही है। केंद्र सरकार की तानाशाही के तहत जो इस तरीके से गिरफ्तारी की जा रही है। अभी कोर्ट ने ऑर्डर रिजर्व किया है।
Developments taking place both in court and outside. Has emergency been imposed in Delhi? AAP is claiming that the Delhi police entered the party headquarters today, forcefully entered the party headquarters and arrested some of the AAP personnel. We just heard Atishi Singh who's standing by Saurabh Bharadwaj. Both of them have made these allegations, these charges. Remember, the AAP headquarters is logistically or physically right by the CBI court where those proceedings are taking place. And Atishi and Saurabh Bharadwaj claiming that the Delhi police entered the headquarters, which they point out would be blatantly illegal to enter the headquarters to arrest anyone. Let's go across to Tanushree Pandey, who is also monitoring this story. Tanushree, so AAP, as they promised that they will be taking their protests to the streets, and we saw that today, and we saw the police taking many of them on, arresting many of them. Now AAP upping the ante. They claim that the Delhi police actually entered their headquarters to arrest AAP members. Tanushree? All right, sorry, we have lost the line there with Tanushree. We'll try and get her back on. But earlier in the day, we saw these scenes where after the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister was arrested by the CBI, when he was being produced in the special CBI court at Rouse Avenue, we saw AAP protests, nationwide protests taking place against the arrest of the Deputy Chief Minister in connection with this alleged Delhi liquor excise policy case. The party also held protests outside the BJP headquarters at Deen Dayal Upadhyay Marg. Many protesters were detained. There were clashes with paramilitary forces at At some points, there were reports of lathi charge being used to disperse of these protesters. Now AAP claiming that the Delhi police even entered their headquarters. The visuals on your screen were taken from a short while ago when Manish Sisodia was walking down the halls to the court of Judge Nagpal, where that hearing is currently underway. Both sides arguing that the CBI arguing that he should get they should get remand of Manish Sisodia, and Manish Sisodia's lawyers arguing that he's been summoned thrice, he's appeared twice. The CBI alleges that he was concealing true facts in the case. Basically, what they are saying is, I have not confessed, and they expect me to answer the way they want. One of the arguments raised by the CBI has been that the minister's phone was disposed of or destroyed. Now, Manish Sisodia is not refuting that argument. He's simply pointing out that that is the norm. If one is a minister, your phone would have confidential matters that pertain to governance, and a minister's phone cannot be passed on for second-hand use. Right now, interestingly, there's another argument taking place in court where the counsel for Manish Sisodia has asked the judge what grounds was Manish Sisodia arrested on. The lawyer for Manish Sisodia saying that the police is duty bound to record the reasons for arresting someone. So after 8 hours of questioning, Manish Sisodia was arrested around 7:30 last night. His lawyers asking in court on what grounds was he arrested, saying that any non-compliance would entitle the accused for relief. Now, saying that the grounds given in the arrest memo or the remand application can't be the grounds for police remand. Yesterday, the CBI had put out notice that said that Manish Sisodia was not cooperating, and hence he was arrested. Now, the lawyers for Manish Sisodia have also given a timeline, saying that in May 2021, the LG gave a nod for the policy. What is the CBI trying to hide here? The LG gave suggestions, and even those suggestions were accepted and included before the implementation. So the lawyers for Manish Sisodia are now saying that as per Article 293A, the government, the Aam Aadmi Party, cannot do anything on its own. Everything has to be done only with the permission of the LG. Of course, the LG and the AAP's acrimonious relationship is well known. AAP's counsel today in court saying that the LG was on board, and any action taken in this policy could only have been done with the permission of the LG. Now, the lawyer, interestingly, this is an argument made by the CBI, and the lawyers have said even that 12% profit margin clause, which the CBI's counsel has claimed that was changed, was part of the note that was sent to the LG, and the LG cleared it without any objection. So the Aam Aadmi Party's counsel, Manish Sisodia's counsel, saying that the argument that there was a 12% margin clause was cleared by the LG without any objection. So the Aam Aadmi Party not denying that this profit margin clause was included, but what they're saying is that it was cleared by the LG. The LG was on board. Let's get some more reactions. We have Atashi Singh responding. Let's listen in.
आज भारतीय जनता पार्टी की ये पुलिस हमारे ऑफिस के अंदर घुस रही है। ये क्या तानाशाही है? आज मोदी जी को लगता है कि वो किसी को भी जेल में डाल देंगे। उनको लगता है कि वो बिना किसी सबूत के साथ किसी को अंदर डाल देंगे। कोई आवाज नहीं उठा सकता। आज पार्टी ऑफिस के अंदर घुस रहे हैं। पार्टी ऑफिस के अंदर घुसकर लोगों को अरेस्ट कर रहे हैं। ये कैसी तानाशाही है? आम आदमी पार्टी के कार्यकर्ता शांति से बैठे हुए थे, पुलिस वाले आके उन्हें घसीट के लेके जा रहे हैं। देखिए, हम पहले दिन से जब तक मनीष सिसोदिया जी जेल में हैं, हमारा प्रोटेस्ट जारी रहेगा। हम लड़ते रहेंगे, हम संघर्ष करते रहेंगे और ना सिर्फ हम लड़ेंगे, इस शहर का हर इंसान लड़ेगा, इस देश का हर इंसान लड़ेगा, इस तानाशाही के खिलाफ लड़ेगा। भारतीय जनता पार्टी को ये पता होना चाहिए कि जो 26 फरवरी 2023 जिस दिन उन्होंने मनीष सिसोदिया जी को गिरफ्तार किया है, वो दिन भारतीय जनता पार्टी के अंत की शुरुआत है।
All right, let's go across to Priyanshi. She is now outside that courtroom where this argument is taking place. Priyanshi, I just want to clarify, go over this. As far as I can see, there are 4 main arguments here made by the CBI. 1, that he is not cooperating. 2, phones were destroyed. 3, there were call logs that they have put forward before the judge. And 4, draft. They talk about the draft policy that the profit margin was changed. Interestingly now, from what I can understand of what's transpiring in court, the Aam Aadmi Party is not denying that there was a change in this profit margin. They are saying this was cleared by the LG.
Right. Right, Sarah, you've picked it up right. The Aam Aadmi Party side is saying that the change in the profit margin from 5 to 12% was in fact cleared by the Lieutenant Governor. So that's why they're saying that it's really nothing that went under the table. It was clearly out in the open and the Lieutenant Governor gave a nod to it. Now, as you must remember that the Delhi government, the functioning, the structure is such that for any major action that the Delhi government has to take, including the excise policy, they have to get a nod from the Lieutenant Governor. So they say that as per procedure, we were required to get a nod from the Lieutenant Governor before coming up, before finalizing the liquor policy, and that's what we did. And the Lieutenant Governor also approved that increase in the profit margin clause from 5 to 12%, and they're saying it's nothing that went off the records as the CBI is alleging. The CBI, on the other hand, on this exact argument said that this is something that wasn't present in the first draft, which might have been presented to the Lieutenant Governor as well, and they're saying that this is something that wasn't present in that in the first draft, but it was only added later by Mr. Manish Sisodia. Mr. Manish Sisodia had a role in adding those clauses later, adding those provisions later in the policy. So that's the allegation of the CBI, that Manish Sisodia added certain provisions to favor some people and increase the profit margin for the wholesalers, for the retailers, to favor them and then in turn receive kickbacks from them. That's the allegation of the CBI, while AAP says that it was done all following procedure with the Lieutenant Governor's approval. Now, these allegations are currently going on in this very court, the Rouse Avenue court that we're currently showing you. This is where the arguments are currently being heard. The CBI, of course, has sought that they want 5 days of custody to question Mr. Manish Sisodia further. But the Aam Aadmi Party and Manish Sisodia's counsel there in the court is saying that Manish Sisodia has been fully cooperating with the investigation. The Central Bureau of Investigation cannot ask for custody simply based on the fact that Manish Sisodia didn't give the answer that they wanted. Now, Sisodia's counsel in the latest has said that Sisodia in the court has said that he is the finance minister and he has to present the budget as well.
Priyanshi, just hold that thought for a second. I'm sorry to break into your chain of thought, but from what we know, my colleague, our colleague Arvind is reporting that the order has been reserved. Now the question, what does this mean? Let's try and go across to Arvind as soon as possible. But basically, no decision is going to be given on this matter for today. So we're not sure if this is an order reserved for the day or for some time. And legally, what does this mean? Where does Manish Sisodia go now? Does he stay another night at the CBI headquarters? Let's try and get some reactions to that. But sorry, Priyanshi, go ahead. You were telling us about the arguments being made in court just a short while ago.
Right, Sarah, the latest that we're getting that, as you mentioned, that the order has been reserved. This essentially means that the judge is now going to think about coming for a decision, and this does not mean that for now the order has been reserved for the day, but it means that the order has been reserved for some time. So while the judge has heard both sides of the argument, now the judge is going to, Judge Nagpal is going to take some time to arrive at an order, to arrive at a decision. So that's what's currently happening. Both sides of the arguments have been heard in the CBI court or the Rouse Avenue court, and now the order has been reserved for some time, and there is going to be a decision in a short while from now. So the arguments for both sides have been completed at the Rouse Avenue court, while we are going to see and we can expect a decision from Judge Nagpal in just a short while from now. Now, order will be given before 5 p.m. That's also what we have confirmed as of now. So it's around 4:15 p.m. right now, and the order is going to be out by around 5 p.m. Until then, Mr. Manish Sisodia, the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister, is going to remain in the courtroom. Now, let's consider the multiple cases that could play out at 5 p.m. when the order comes out. If the Rouse Avenue court or the CBI court gives a 5-day custody, gives that permission to the CBI as they've sought a 5-day custody, Mr. Manish Sisodia from here will go back to the CBI headquarters, and he'll stay there for 5 days in the designated lockup at the CBI headquarters itself. So he'll stay there while the CBI will further question him for 5 more days. Now, if the judge rejects that demand of the CBI for 5 additional days of questioning, then Mr. Manish Sisodia will not be questioned further by the CBI. There will be no police custody for Mr. Manish Sisodia. But we'll have to wait and see for around 40 minutes now to see what the verdict is, what the decision is on that custody, on that police custody of Mr. Manish Sisodia. The argument's clearly over. And if we just give you a sum up of the arguments on both sides, number one, the CBI argued that Manish Sisodia did not cooperate with the investigation. They questioned him yesterday on several fronts, including the front that whether he tailored the excise policy to favor some people. They also questioned him on what they say Manish Sisodia increased the profit margin clause from 5% to 12%. To increase the profit that the private liquor vends will get under the liquor policy. And these were the allegations that the CBI made. Now, remember, under the liquor policy, what essentially happened is that liquor vends went from government to private. The government essentially lifted its control over the liquor vends and they went to private players. So the CBI is alleging that Manish Sisodia tailor-made that policy in such a way that certain private players are benefited from it, certain retailers are benefited from it. So they say that the profit margin clause was increased from 5 to 12%, and even the BJP is saying that this increase in profit margin essentially meant more kickbacks for the Aam Aadmi Party as they increased the profit margin clause for the retailers. That just meant that the Aam Aadmi Party was getting some share of that increased profit margin. That's what the BJP has also been alleging in this case. So that was the primary argument of the CBI, that they wanted to question him on this very front, but he did not cooperate with the investigation. They say that he gave evasive replies, and he kept on saying, as my colleague Arvind Gunasekar has reported, that CBI said that he kept on saying that he doesn't know anything about this. So that's why the CBI said they want more time to investigate him on this specific point. Now, on the other hand, Manish Sisodia's side has said that they have fully cooperated with the investigation. They've come whenever the CBI called him. Just last Sunday when he was called, he didn't come because he asked for 1 week extension because he had to prepare the budget. But when he was called again, he came. He also cooperated with the searches at his home, at his bank locker. So that's what Manish Sisodia's side is saying, that he's fully cooperating with the investigation and there's no reason for further custody of him. And they're saying that the CBI only wants to keep him further because he's just not saying what the CBI wants him to say. He's just not accepting what the CBI wants him to say and what the CBI wants him to confess there during the investigation. So Manish Sisodia's side is saying that simply because he's not self-incriminating, that isn't a ground for seeking custody of Manish Sisodia. They're saying that we're fully cooperating with the investigation, and they say that usually a custody is sought when there's a fear that the accused might flee or the accused might not cooperate with the investigation, might not appear for the next questioning. But they're saying that in this case, since Sisodia is fully cooperating, he's coming for questioning whenever you call him, then why is there a reason to ask for further custody? Simply because he's not giving you the answers that you want, that's not a ground strong enough. That's what Manish Sisodia's argument has been. Now, on the front that we talked about, the profit margin clause that, according to the CBI, had been increased from 5 to 12%, Manish Sisodia's counsel in the court did not say that that didn't happen, but he just said that as the profit margin was increased to 12%, that happened with with a full consent of the Lieutenant Governor as well, and they say that the Lieutenant Governor, as per law and as per rules of the Delhi government, agreed to that, and he knew that that profit margin is going to be increased. So they're saying that it's nothing that happened under the table, but the LG was also fully aware of it, so it's nothing wrong that they did. So that's their argument on that front. Now, another argument, what the BJP and the CBI had also been saying, that Mr. Manish Sisodia destroyed his phones to destroy crucial evidence in this case. Now, Manish Sisodia's counsel on that front said that he's a minister, of course, and he has confidential data on his phone. So they're saying that after he chooses to move on to another phone, that doesn't mean he's just going to give his second-hand phone just randomly to somebody to use, because of course it has confidential data. He's a minister. So that's why that sort of signals the fact that they have no option but to damage those phones or destroy those phones when he chooses another phone to use, because of course he's a minister. But the allegation on CBI's and BJP side has been that he used and destroyed several phones. And why did he have to really move from one phone to another that frequently? Why did he have to destroy those many phones? That's the allegation that the BJP and the CBI also have in this case. For now, the order has been reserved. We can expect it half an hour from now. If police custody is granted, he of course will go to the CBI headquarters, but if it's rejected, he'll go to the Tihar jail, because then his judicial custody will start. Judicial custody means that the CBI cannot question him then, but he'll just stay in the Tihar jail in the judicial custody. As of course he's been arrested, so there are only two possibilities now. One is police custody, one is judicial custody. If the court right now grants him police custody, grants the CBI police custody of 5 days, that means that the CBI will get the right to question him for 5 days and keep it under their custody at the CBI headquarters for 5 days and question him on whatever fronts that they want to. But if the court rejects that custody request from the CBI, that also doesn't mean that Manish Sisodia is going to be free today. This is not a hearing that is... At this stage, he can't ask for a bail. So if at all the custody request from the CBI is rejected, even then Manish Sisodia, in that case, he's not going to go to the CBI headquarters, but he's going to go in the lockup at the Tihar jail, because of course he's been arrested in this case. So either way, he's going to go to one place or another. The difference that's going to, the primary difference that's going to exist is that if he gets CBI custody, the CBI can question him further. But if he doesn't get CBI custody and he simply goes to the Tihar jail, then he'll just be in the lockup in the Tihar jail, and the CBI cannot question him anymore to get any more evidence or to get any more confessions from him. So that's the primary difference between police custody and judicial custody that we will see in just about half an hour from now, the decision that will come from the Rouse Avenue Court, Sarah.